It's been almost 3 years since Emily Quint reported to police that she'd been sexually assaulted. Just over a year ago, the charges against her alleged assailant were tossed out, not because of the merits of the case, but because of court delays.
The stages of grief just flew through my body, flew through my mind. There was so much anger, so much sadness. It was like, who can I contact? What can I do? This can't be the end. What are you talking about? Disbelief.
The case had exceeded a strict 18-month limit to complete the trial. The charges were stayed because the charter rights of the accused had been violated. And her case is far from an anomaly. Data from Statistics Canada reveals a dramatic shift in criminal outcomes in Ontario over the last decade. The data looks at decisions made within the court system each year. In 2022-23, more than half of those decisions resulted in charges being thrown out without being tested at trial. That includes charges that are withdrawn, stayed, dismissed, or discharged before a decision at trial. That's up 14 percentage points from a decade ago. The trend includes even the most serious charges like homicides and sexual assaults. Sarah Crawford is with the Canadian Resource Centre for Victims of Crime.
It's problematic. It's an ongoing failure that we're seeing in the courts, and a lot of our victims and survivors are losing faith in the process.
Criminal charges can be dropped for a number of reasons, including when there isn't a reasonable prospect of conviction. Sometimes charges are also withdrawn when a person faces multiple charges and agrees to plead guilty to a lesser charge. But those working within the justice system tell us there are cases that should go to trial but aren't because of staffing issues and court delays. According to the province, last year 178 criminal cases were stayed because the case stretched beyond the time limit. The president of the Ontario Crown Attorneys Association says judicial vacancies, courtroom shortages, and more complex cases with lots of digital evidence are all contributing factors.
It's leaving my frontline crowns in a really difficult position. They are working tremendously hard. They care about these cases. They care about their complainants, and they care about protecting the public.
The Ministry of the Attorney General says it's investing millions of dollars to hire at least 25 new judges, as well as more Crown prosecutors. Kelway says that's a start, but not enough. Paul Pedersen is with the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. He says the current challenges facing the court system are disappointing and frustrating.
Public trust is lost when the system falls apart, and we want to do our part to work with others and make sure that justice can be served.
That trust certainly lost for Quint, who testified and was cross-examined before the trial was cut short. She says disclosing to police in the first place was difficult.
I think that pain that I had at that moment is nowhere near the amount of pain that I had throughout the 2-year process, where they finally said, Emily, it's over. It's why would you put me through all of that?
In written remarks after the charges against Quint's alleged assailant were stayed, the judge wrote that the issues at the Toronto courthouse that caused the delays were shameful and brought the administration of justice into disrepute. Sarah MacMillan, CBC News, Toronto.